The rumor is that the Dallas Cowboys offered Dak Prescott a $100 million contract, and that, in fact, Dak Prescott turned it down, which is like, what? To me, that's insane. I cannot believe Dak Prescott turned down a $100 million contract from the Cowboys. He should have taken the money. I think Dak should have taken that contract. I believe that if Dak Prescott hits free agency and can sign with any team he wants, he's going to actually run into a rude awakening. He's going to realize, maybe I'm not as valuable as I really thought I was. There was a long time ago, actually not a long time ago, just recently there was a Sony Nintendo prototype game console that came out. So a long time ago, Sony and Nintendo were working together, and then they had a falling out, and Sony decided to split off and make the PlayStation. But for a while, Sony and Nintendo were planning to make a game console together. And so somewhere in the world, there is a prototype for a Sony and Nintendo video game console that is got both logos on it. It's very interesting, kind of weird. And there was a guy out there that had one of these consoles sitting at his house, and he decided to sell it. And the rumor is that he was privately offered $1.2 million for the video game console, this old relic which has Sony and Nintendo hardware in it. And he decided to turn down the $1.2 million offer, at least this is the rumor, and entered it into the auction. Now, the sad reality is that at the auction, the console only sold for around $300,000. $300,000 versus $1.2 million. That's a massive, massive difference. Like $300,000 is great, but it is not as good as $1.2 million. The guy should have taken the deal when he had one. And I think it's the exact same situation for Dak Prescott. I mean, we've seen this before. Le'Veon Bell was offered a really big contract by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He turned it down, tested free agency, and then when he hit free agency, realized, the Steelers offer was the best I was offered, and signed a smaller contract, the best he was offered with the New York Jets. You tell me, what team beside the Dallas Cowboys is going to offer Dak Prescott a $100 million contract? I just don't think it's out there for Dak Prescott. I don't. $100 million from the Dallas Cowboys is the best deal Dak Prescott's going to get. I just don't see another team that's like, yeah, let's give you a bunch of money. Maybe the Panthers, maybe the Chargers. That's it. Other teams are like, no way. And I think those two teams are like the Chargers are happy, drafting Justin Herbert or a quarterback in the draft rather than giving Dak Prescott a massively overpriced deal. And so to me, it's so insane that Dak Prescott would turn down $100 million. I cannot believe it. His whole argument that he's worth more than he's getting offered is that Dak Prescott goes, well, I got a bunch of really good stats last year. Really good stats. Yeah, you earned a bunch of really good stats and yards in garbage time when your team was losing by a bunch of points. That's not that interesting. I don't know, man. I just can't believe it. Dak is solid. He's a good leader. I like Dak. He's very stable. But he's got very average accuracy. He's a very average quarterback. And the reality about Dak Prescott is that he needs help in order to win football games. He needs a good team around him. So I go back to this. I cannot believe Dak Prescott turned down a $100 million deal. Now, the reality is maybe that deal never existed. Maybe his team leaked the story to try to drive the price up for Dak Prescott. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe in the Sony Nintendo thing, what happened was the guy said, hey, I got offered $1.2 million, hoping it would drive up the price at the auction. I don't know. But I just don't believe Dak Prescott is as highly sought after of a free agent quarterback as he believes. I would rather have Phillip Rivers. I'd rather have Jameis Winston. I'd rather have Marcus Mariota. I'd way rather have Tom Brady. Dak Prescott is not even nearly the best quarterback on the market if he hits free agency, not even close. And so, especially not at the $100 million price tag. I'd take Dak Prescott at a discount. He's a good, cheap, solid quarterback. I'm not paying him $100 million. And so Dak is the big storyline to me. Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers, and Dak Prescott are the four. I'm like, I cannot wait to see what happens with these quarterbacks. And I think it's really, really possible that the Cowboys decide to move on from Dak Prescott, find a cheaper option at quarterback. And it's even more possible that Dak struggles in the free agent market. Maybe the Cowboys say, hey, we're not going to give you $100 million. We're going to give $100 million to Jameis Winston or trade for Marcus Mariota or move up in the draft and draft a quarterback. I mean, I don't think paying Dak Prescott $100 million is a good deal for anybody, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I would really be not surprised at all if the Cowboys just moved on and found a different option at quarterback rather than giving Dak Prescott the money he wants. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.